There was nothing hostile about the street. It was the kind of tree-lined, manicured suburb where the sound of a leaf blower was considered noise pollution. Dr. Aris Thorne pulled his 10-year-old Honda Accord to the curb in front of 2145 Willow Lane, the new rental. The drive from California had been long, and the cross-country move was a gamble. A prestigious research fellowship at the university, a chance to start fresh after the divorce. He wore what he always wore when driving. Faded jeans, a worn-out Caltech sweatshirt, and a baseball cap pulled low. He was just a man, tired, staring at a new beginning. He'd been sitting for only a minute, scrolling through the property manager's email for the keypad code, when a silver sedan slowed to a stop opposite him. A man in a polo shirt and sunglasses watched him for a beat too long before driving off. Aris thought nothing of it. 5 minutes later, a black SUV with a shield decal, not police, private security, rolled up behind him. No lights, no siren, just presence. 2 security officers got out. One was broad-shouldered, buzz-cut, the kind of man who filled a uniform to its limits, Officer Miller. The other was younger, leaner, holding a tablet, Officer Jansen. Miller approached the driver's side. Jansen hung back, near the trunk. "Afternoon," Miller said, his tone neutral, devoid of welcome. "Everything all right here?" Aris lowered his phone. "Yes, thank you. Just moving in." He offered a faint, tired smile. "This is your residence?" Miller asked, his eyes doing a quick, assessing sweep of the car's interior. The stacked boxes, the hanging suits and garment bags, the expensive laptop bag on the passenger seat. "It will be. I'm renting. Just got the code now." Aris held up his phone. Jansen spoke from behind, his voice higher, trying to sound authoritative. "We've had reports of a suspicious vehicle chasing the houses on this block. You understand, we have to check." "Of course," Aris said, his voice even, a lifetime of academic calm taking over. "My name is Dr. Aris Thorne. I'm an incoming fellow at the university's Institute for Advanced Study. My credentials are in the glove box, if you'd like to see them." Miller didn't ask for them. "What's the name of the homeowner?" "The property is managed by Premier Properties. The owner's name is, let me see, Fisher. Linda Fisher." Miller's expression didn't change. He already knew the name. This was a test. "And you have an ID confirming your address?" Aris kept his hands visible on the steering wheel. "My license still has my California address. But I have the lease agreement. It's right here on my phone. Or in that folder on the seat. May I reach for it?" "Slowly," Jansen said, his hand drifting toward his belt, where no weapon was, just a radio. Aris moved with deliberate, unhurried grace. He picked up the folder, pulled out the top sheet, and handed it to Miller. The official university offer letter was beneath it, with its embossed seal. Miller glanced at the lease, then back at Aris, his eyes lingering on the out-of-state plates. "You know, sir, it's community policy to register all vehicles with the security gate within 48 hours of moving in." "I was unaware," Aris replied, his tone still polite, but the steel beginning to show. "As I haven't actually moved in yet. I literally just arrived. Would you like me to call Ms. Fisher to verify? Or perhaps Dr. Evans at the university? He's the head of the institute. I have his number right here." He was giving them every off-ramp, every opportunity to de-escalate, to verify, to be professional. They didn't take them. Miller handed the lease back. "We'll need you to come down to the security office to fill out the paperwork. Now would be best." Aris blinked. The absurdity of it was breathtaking. He was being ordered away from his new home before he could even step inside because he had arrived in the wrong car, with the wrong skin tone. "Officer," he said, the title laced with a new, cool formality. "I have been driving for 3 days. I need to use the restroom and I need to unpack my perishables. I will happily come to your office tomorrow. My fellowship ID should be ready by then. Will that be sufficient?" "The rules are for everyone's safety, sir," Jansen said, the phrase sounding rehearsed. "Are they?" Aris asked softly. He finally moved, turning off the car and pulling the keys from the ignition. He opened the door and stepped out, unfolding his 6'2" frame. He saw Jansen tense slightly. Aris didn't look at them. He looked at the house. Then he picked up his phone, not to call the property manager, but to open the camera. He started recording, pointing it not at the officers, but at himself and the house number. "For the record," he said, his voice clear and calm, perfectly pitched for the microphone. "It is 3:15 p.m. on October 12th. I am Dr. Aris Thorne, and I have just arrived at my new rental home at 2145 Willow Lane. I have been met by private security officers Miller and Jansen, who, despite my providing a signed lease and professional identification, are insisting I leave the property to fill out paperwork before I am permitted to enter. I have stated I am happy to comply tomorrow. I am now going to attempt to enter my home." He stopped recording and saved the file. The two officers were silent, thrown by the methodical, documented response. It wasn't anger, it was evidence collection. As Aris turned to walk toward the front door, a minivan pulled up. A woman in her 40s, with a kind, worried face, got out. "Is everything okay here?" she called out. She looked from Aris to the security officers. "I'm Linda Fisher. This is my tenant." Miller finally looked uncomfortable. "Ms. Fisher, we were just verifying that the black man in the old car isn't a burglar," she finished, her voice sharp. "I got a call from Mrs. Gable down the street the moment you pulled up. I knew this would happen. His references are impeccable. He's a world-renowned physicist, for God's sake." The air went out of the confrontation. Jansen looked at his shoes. Miller's jaw worked. Aris looked at Linda Fisher. "Thank you," he said, with genuine gratitude. He then looked at the officers. "The security office opens at 9 tomorrow? I'll be there." He didn't wait for a response. He walked to the keypad, entered the code, and pushed the door open. He didn't slam it. He closed it quietly, leaving the three of them standing in the perfect, silent, shame-filled street. The next day, Aris went to the security office. He was met not by Miller, but by a flustered community HOA president and a deeply apologetic security chief. There were offers to waive fees, promises of retraining. Aris listened politely. Then he slid his completed vehicle registration across the desk. "I don't want anyone fired," he said, echoing a sentiment from another story. "But I would like a proposal from you on how you will change your protocol so the next new resident, whether they're a doctor, a delivery driver, or a daycare worker, is welcomed instead of interrogated." He didn't stay for the answer. He had work to do. But that evening, as he unpacked, he saw a pie on his doorstep. A note from Linda Fisher, "Welcome to the neighborhood. I'm so sorry." A week later, a proposed new welcome protocol was circulated to all residents for a vote. It started with the words, "Upon noticing a new neighbor, the first response should be a friendly introduction, not a call to security." Change, Aris thought, often started not with a bang, but with a quiet, unwavering refusal to accept the way things had always been done.